Welcome back to the Master of Mirrors. Tonight's reflection is cracked, twisted, and terrifying. If you are ready to face the truth, dim the lights. Let's gaze into the abyss together.
Title: I found a meteorite in the deep woods of northern Maine. I made the mistake of touching it, and now I can hear the trees screaming. Posted by U/Surveyor Elias 99. Date October 14th, 2023. I'm writing this on a satellite connection that keeps dropping in and out, so if the formatting is messed up or this cuts off abruptly, you know why. I don't have much time left before the battery dies or before my fingers stop working. I need to get this down. I need someone to send the hazmat team, or the nukes, probably the nukes. I'm a land surveyor. I won't say which company I work for, but we handle large tracts of uninhabited wilderness, mostly for potential logging contracts or conservation mapping. I've been doing this for 15 years. I know the woods. I know the difference between a bear trail and a deer run. I know the smell of rain before it hits, and I know that when the forest goes quiet, you stop moving. But I didn't know what this was. 3 days ago, I was mapping a sector near the Allagash. Title: I found a meteorite in the deep woods of northern Maine. I made the mistake of touching it, and now I can hear the trees screaming. Posted by U/Surveyor Elias 99. Date October 14th, 2023. I'm writing this on a satellite connection that keeps dropping in and out, so if the formatting is messed up or this cuts off abruptly, you know why. I don't have much time left before the battery dies or before my fingers stop working. I need to get this down. I need someone to send the hazmat team, or the nukes, probably the nukes. I'm a land surveyor. I won't say which company I work for, but we handle large tracts of uninhabited wilderness, mostly for potential logging contracts or conservation mapping. I've been doing this for 15 years. I know the woods. I know the difference between a bear trail and a deer run. I know the smell of rain before it hits, and I know that when the forest goes quiet, you stop moving. But I didn't know what this was. 3 days ago, I was mapping a sector near the Allagash Wilderness. It's rough terrain, dense pine, rocky outcrops, and dead zones where the GPS goes haywire. I was about 6 miles from my truck, planning to camp overnight near a ridge so I could get an early start on the elevation data the next morning. It was around 7 p.m. The sun had dipped below the tree line, and the sky was that bruised purple color you get right before true dark. I was boiling water for coffee on my portable stove when the sky tore open. It wasn't like the movies. There was no whistling sound, no sonic boom, just a sudden, blinding flash of green light that washed out every shadow in the forest. It was so bright I could see the veins in my eyelids. Then came the impact. It didn't sound like an explosion. It sounded like a heavy, wet thud, like someone dropping a melon off a skyscraper, but magnified by 1,000. The ground jumped, literally jumped. My coffee pot rattled off the burner, and I stumbled, catching myself on a hemlock tree. Silence followed. Absolute vacuum-sealed silence. No crickets, no wind, no birds. I should have stayed put. Any rational person would have stayed at camp, waited for morning, and then hiked the hell out of there. But the impact site was close, maybe 400 yards over the ridge, and there was this pull. It wasn't physical exactly. It was curiosity, sure, but it felt sharper, like a fishhook in the center of my chest, tugging me forward. I grabbed my flashlight, my sidearm, a .45, standard for bears or moose, and my radio, and I headed up the ridge. The smell hit me first. It didn't smell like smoke or burning wood. It smelled like ozone and cinnamon. It was a sweet, metallic tang that coated the back of my throat immediately. I could taste it more than I could smell it. When I crested the ridge, I saw the crater. It was smaller than I expected, maybe 20 feet across, plowed into the side of a limestone embankment. The dirt around it wasn't charred. It was bleached. The dirt, the moss, the roots, they were all a stark bone white, as if the color had been sucked right out of them in a split second. And in the center sat the object. It wasn't a rock. Meteorites are usually jagged, pitted things, chunks of iron and nickel. This thing was smooth. It was roughly the size of a sedan, shaped like a teardrop, and it was black. Not just black, it absorbed the light from my flashlight. The light didn't reflect off it, it just terminated against the surface. I slid down the embankment, my boots crunching on the bleached frozen grass. The air temperature dropped the closer I got. By the time I was 10 feet away, I could see my breath. The object was humming. It was a low frequency, something you feel in your teeth more than you hear. Thrum, 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 like a massive sleeping heart. I walked a circle around it. There were no seams, no rivets, no windows, just this seamless, light-eating void. Then I saw the crack. On the side facing the limestone cliff, there was a hairline fracture in the hull. A faint, pulsating green light was leaking out, matching the rhythm of the thrumming sound. It was hypnotic. The light looked liquid, viscous. I reached out. I know, I'm an idiot. I've read the sci-fi books, I've seen the movies, but in that moment, my brain wasn't working right. The logic center had shut down, replaced by a primitive monkey brain need to touch. My gloved hand brushed the surface. The glove disintegrated. It didn't burn, it just fell apart, turning into gray dust that drifted to the ground. My bare fingertips made contact with the cold, slick surface of the object. A shock wave went through me. Not electricity, it felt like ice water being injected directly into my marrow. My vision went white. I heard a sound inside my skull like a dial-up modem screaming, layered over the sound of wind chimes. I jerked my hand back and fell on my ass. My hand was glowing. Faintly, under the skin, the veins in my right arm were tracing patterns in a soft, bioluminescent green. I stared at it, horrified, rubbing it against my jacket, trying to wipe it off. It wasn't on the surface. It was in me. The humming from the object got louder. The crack widened. Panic finally overrode the trance. I scrambled back up the embankment, slipping on the white grass, and ran. I didn't stop running until I crashed back into my campsite, collapsing next to my upturned stove. I spent the night huddled in my tent with my gun pointed at the zipper, shivering violently. The veins in my right arm stopped glowing after an hour, but they turned a dark, bruised purple. My arm felt heavy, like it was asleep but painful, a deep aching throb in the bone. I must have passed out around 4 a.m. because I woke up to the sun hitting the tent canvas. For a second, I thought it was a nightmare. Then I looked at my hand. My fingers were wrong. They were longer, just slightly, maybe a quarter of an inch, and the nail plates were gone. In their place was smooth gray skin, hard as a callus. I packed up camp in a frenzy. I left the tent, the stove, everything heavy. I just took my water, my keys, and the radio. I needed to get to the truck. The hawkback should have taken 3 hours. I've been walking for 2 days.
Update. October 14, 11:30 p.m. I'm currently holed up in an old hunter's blind about, maybe 4 miles from where I started. I can't trust my GPS. The screen just shows static whenever I turn it on. The woods have changed. It started subtly. About an hour into my hike back, I noticed the geometry of the trees was off. Pines don't grow in perfect spirals. They don't twist around each other like braided. Update. October 14, 11:30 p.m. I'm currently holed up in an old hunter's blind about, maybe 4 miles from where I started. I can't trust my GPS. The screen just shows static whenever I turn it on. The woods have changed. It started subtly. About an hour into my hike back, I noticed the geometry of the trees was off. Pines don't grow in perfect spirals. They don't twist around each other like braided rope. but here they do. I saw a birch tree that had bent over and grown back into the ground, forming a perfect arch. And then I saw the squirrel. It was sitting on a stump, watching me. I didn't think much of it until I got closer. It didn't run. It just sat there, vibrating. When I passed it, I saw why. The squirrel was fused to the wood. Its paws had melted into the bark. The fur on its back had turned to moss. Its eyes were gone, replaced by two small black pebbles. But it was still breathing. I could see its ribs expanding and contracting, pulling against the wood it was merged with. It made a high-pitched mewling sound, but it couldn't move. I threw up. I dry-heaved until my ribs ached. The vomit was black. I kept moving, but the forest kept getting denser. The undergrowth is aggressive now. Ferns uncoil as I walk past them, reaching for my boots. Vines seem to shift position when I look away. And the silence is gone. The woods are loud now, but not with animal sounds. It's the trees. They're groaning. It sounds like a wooden ship in a storm, a constant creaking and snapping. But underneath that, if you listen closely, it sounds like voices, slowed down, stretched out voices screaming in agony. My arm is worse. I took my jacket off to look at it a few hours ago. The gray, callus-like skin has spread up to my elbow. The elbow joint no longer bends the way it should. It feels like a ball and socket joint now, able to rotate 360 degrees. I tested it. I twisted my forearm all the way around. It didn't hurt. It felt good. It felt right. I checked my reflection in a stagnant pool of water. The water was thick like syrup. My eyes are changing. The pupils are rectangular now, like a goat's, but horizontal. The irises are turning that same sickly green color as the light from the meteorite. I'm hungry, but not for food. I tried to eat an energy bar, and it tasted like ash. I looked at a patch of damp soil near the blind, and my mouth watered. I wanted to put my hands in it. I wanted to root myself. I'm typing this on my phone. I have 12% battery. I found a spot with 1 bar of service. I tried calling 911, but the call wouldn't connect. It just made that dial-up screeching sound I heard in my head when I touched the rock. I think the signal is coming from me now. Update, October 15, 03 a.m. I can't sleep. The hunter's blind is elevated, a wooden box on stilts about 10 feet in the air. It feels safe, but I know it isn't. Something is walking under the blind. It's been pacing back and forth for the last hour. It's heavy, two-legged, but the gait is uneven. Thump, drag, thump, drag. I peeked through the slat in the floorboards. It's a deer, or it was. The antlers have grown uncontrollably. They're a massive, tangled, thorny crown that drags on the ground, weighing the head down. The deer's neck is snapped, I'm sure of it, hanging at a 90-degree angle, but it keeps walking. The body is covered in those black, geometric boils, and it has hands. Protruding from its rib cage, tearing through the fur, are human arms. They look pale and wet. They're grasping at the air, clawing at the wooden stilts of my shelter. I'm sitting here with my .45 pointed at the trapdoor. I checked the magazine. 7 rounds. I looked at my own hand again. The gray skin has reached my shoulder. My fingernails on my left hand, the human one, are falling out. They're loose. I pulled one out with my teeth a few minutes ago. It didn't bleed. There was just a gelatinous green paste underneath. I can hear the meteorite thrumming. I'm miles away, but I can hear it. It's not in the distance anymore. It's in my head. It's broadcasting instructions. Grow, consume, integrate. It's not an invasion. It's a terraforming event, and I'm patient zero.
I think I know why I can't find the truck. I don't think I'm walking in circles. I think the landscape is being rewritten around me. The meteorite is expanding the space, folding the forest over on itself like origami. I am so thirsty.
Update, October 15th, 6:45 a.m. The sun is up. It's not yellow. It's a pale, filtered white, like looking through frosted glass. The sky is full of spores. I can see them floating in the air, glittering diamond dust motes. Every time I breathe, I can feel them taking root in my lungs. I coughed into my hand earlier and hacked up a clump of moss. It was wet and warm. The deer thing is gone, but it left the arms behind. They are fused to the wooden stilts of the blind now. They are growing into the wood, turning the dead lumber back into living trees. The blind is tilting as the stilts start to warp and grow branches. I have to move. I'm going to try to head north, toward the logging road. If I can make it to the gravel, maybe the geometry will hold. Maybe I can flag down a truck. But I have to be honest with myself. I don't think I should leave these woods. If I get out, if I bring this to a town, to a hospital, I can feel the urge to spread. It's a biological imperative. It's screaming in the back of my mind. Find others, share the gift, become the forest. I'm fighting it. God, I'm fighting it, but it's hard. The pain is gone now. I feel strong. I feel connected to everything. I can feel the sap moving in the trees around me. I can sense the heartbeat of a rabbit 300 yards away. I'm taking the gun. If I see the road, if I see a car, I don't know if I'll wave them down or if I'll try to infect them. So here is my plan. I'm going to walk north. If I feel my mind slipping, if I feel the imperative take over, I'm going to use the gun. I'm typing this so there is a record. If you are in northern Maine, near the Allagash, stay out of the woods. If you see a green flash, drive the other way. If you smell cinnamon and ozone, hold your breath. And if you see a man walking down the road and one of his arms is gray and looks like stone, don't stop. Hit him with your car, and don't stop driving. My left hand is typing this. My right hand is resting on the floorboards. My right hand just grew roots. They're digging into the wood. I can't pull it free. I'm stuck. Oh God, the blind is shifting. The walls are closing in. The wood is becoming soft. It's merging with me. I'm not in a shelter anymore. I'm in a cocoon. The signal is so loud. It's beautiful. Integrate. I can see the network now. It's all connected. The fungi, the roots, the deer, the squirrel, the rock. I'm not Elias anymore. I am the bridge. Don't come looking for me. Wait, I hear an engine. I hear a truck engine. It's close, maybe on the logging road. I have to warn them. I have to tell them to run. Or maybe they can help me. Maybe they can take me somewhere populated, somewhere with more biomass. I'm going to cut my arm free. I have a knife. It will take a few minutes. I'll update if I make it to the road. Final edit. I see them. It's a family, a station wagon. They stopped. They are looking at the trees. They look confused. They see me waving. They are rolling down the window. I'm running to them. I just want to touch them. Just one touch. It will be so beautiful.
The story may be over, but the reflection remains. If you survived this tale, leave a like to ward off the bad luck. To gaze further into the abyss, make sure you subscribe to the Master of Mirrors and ring the bell. You never know what might be standing behind you in the next video. Watch your back.